Hey, I'm Janice. I'm from Florida.
Neighbor.
Hi, glad it's warm here.
Neighbor.
So I'm going to read the first section of the letter of Dr. King, and I hope I can read it without crying, because it's really a powerful letter, and I think the message is so true today, just as it was even 40 years ago. I am cognizant of the interrelatedness of all communities and states. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Never again can we afford to live with the narrow, provincial, outside agitator idea. Anyone who lives inside the United States can never be considered an outsider anywhere within its bounds. You deplore the demonstrations taking place in Birmingham, but your statement, I am sorry to say, fails to express a similar concern for the conditions that brought about the demonstrations. I am sure that none of you would want to rest content with the superficial kind of social analysis that deals merely with effects and does not grapple with underlying causes. It is unfortunate that demonstrations are taking place in Birmingham, but it is even more unfortunate that the city's white power structure left the Negro community with no alternative. As in so many past experiences, our hopes have been blasted, and the shadow of deep disappointment settled upon us. We had no alternative except to prepare for direct action, whereby we would present out our very bodies as a means of laying our case for the conscience of the local and national community. Mindful of the difficulties involved, we decided to undertake a process of self-purification. We began a series of workshops on nonviolence, and we repeatedly asked ourselves, are you able to accept blows without retaliating? Are you able to endure the ordeal of jail? And I don't know who's next, Val.
Would you mind?
Take off me right here. Yeah, well, I wonder, look how I'm crossing up nice. No, I think that.
You want me to continue on?
Continue on.
Okay, now I'm Val. This is one of my favorite parts of this because I think it speaks so much to what I believe in strongly, which is direct action. And I think, again, as Manny said, I want to reiterate that this is just the beginning. We have got our mojo back, and now we have our president. We're going to support our president, and it's going to be a lot more vocal and exciting in the next 12 months. But here I'll continue Martin King's letter. You may well ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, and so forth? Isn't negotiation a better path? You are quite right in calling for negotiation. Indeed, this is the very purpose of direct action. Nonviolent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and foster such a tension that a community which has constantly refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. It seeks, though, to dramatize the issue that it can no longer be ignored. My fighting the creation of tension as part of the work of a nonviolent resistor may sound rather shocking, but I must confess that I am not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly opposed violent tension, but there is a type of constructive, nonviolent tension which is necessary for growth. Just as Socrates felt that it was necessary to create a tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal, so must we see the need for nonviolent gadflies to create the kind of tension in society that will help men rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. One of the basic points in your statement is that the action that I and my associates have taken in Birmingham is untimely. Some have asked, why don't you give the new city administration time to act? The only answer that I can give to this query is that the new Birmingham administration must be prodded about as much as the outgoing one before it will act. My friends, I must say to you that we have not made a single gain in civil rights without determined legal and nonviolent pressure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Very good job.
Thank you, Martin.
Wait for a second.
Okay. And from South Carolina, I'll continue. Ultimately, it is an historical fact that privileged groups seldom give up their privileges voluntarily. Individuals may see the moral light and voluntarily give up their unjust posture, but as Reinhold Niebuhr has reminded us, groups tend to be more mortal than individuals. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Frankly, I have yet to engage in a direct action campaign that was well timed. In the views of those who have suffered unduly from the disease of segregation. For years now, I've read the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro, piercingly and with piercing and familiarity. This wait almost always means never. We must come to see with one of our distinguished jurors that justice too long delayed is justice denied. In no sense do I advocate evading or defying the law, as would a rabid segregationist. That would lead to anarchy. But one who breaks the law must do so openly, lovingly, and willingly, and with willingness to accept the penalty. I submit that an individual who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust and who willingly accepts the penalty of imprisonment in order to arouse the conscience of the community over its injustice. It is in reality expressing the highest respect for law.
Yeah.
All right, Penny. Ready?